Snowtime with an exclamation mark. This is a Region A disc, which is available from Shout Factory. Now, it's fighting time. The kids are out of school and choosing sides for the biggest snow fight of the year. And how did it all look? Well, mostly okay. The 3D is something of a mixed bag here. Some shots are nearly flat. Within a scene, you'll get a mix of nicely spaced out pictures intercut with shallow shots. And what exactly determines the amount of stereo, I couldn't seem to put my finger on. Usually, if a movie has some flat moments, they are there to mimic human sight or to compensate for fast action. But here it felt a bit random. You'll have two people talking to each other, and one will have rich stereo behind them, and the other won't. Not distracting, just kind of odd. But for the most part, you'll find the 3D spaced well enough. Some scenic shots are rather beautiful and rich in detail. The movie is rendered in something of a painter's style, so the lines have a way of blending all together. Happily, it's rendered in 3D and is not a conversion, and you'll find there is a richness to the detail. The characters, though enjoyable, are done in a cartoon style with faces that look like they are more painted on rather than sculpted, so there isn't much for the 3D to do when we do get close up. There are also some switches in animation style. When we go into a flashback, they kind of go to a more traditional cartoon-type image. There are a few moments of light pop out. It being a snowball movie, you do get things tossed directly to the camera. Also, a few slips and falls give us a little 3D ham, so it's very much a stereo-aware movie. The 3D is intentional and not added as an afterthought. And from that perspective, it seemed a bit odd at first that they didn't do a lot more 3D hijinks, as the entire premise of a monster snowball fight is a perfect scenario for a stereo movie. But once the movie was over and after seeing what the point of it all was, I could see why they were trying to make things less exciting and not more. And to venture into the story, if this movie had its last 10 minutes cut out, if it just faded to the credits during the last big battle, I would have said it was an enjoyable movie. A quirky, slowly paced kids movie with cute moments and a playful array of light silliness with a few slightly poignant moments suitable for watching with young-ish kids. But right at the end, it throws in a shockingly dark conclusion that frankly just leaves a bad taste. If you had any intention of watching this with kids, look up the plot synopsis and think long and hard about that. On review websites, you'll find many one-star reviews from angry parents. This is the kind of quirky movie that only gets made by people who aren't interested in making money or friends. They have strong ideas about the world and won't let entertainment get in the way of that. It's funded by a variety of Canadian funding programs that have a long history of producing stuff that would make Disney blush. As a moral lesson, it reminded me of a joke on Arrested Development where a father would routinely stage a terrifying prank on his kids to teach them something. I half expected him to show up at the end and declare, "And that's why you don't throw snowballs." On research, I found that this is actually a remake of a live-action French-Canadian movie, whose title I won't mention because it's actually a spoiler. So that sour ending was apparently the whole reason for making the movie. And it's too bad. They had a good thing going. It still had subtle, understandable ideas about conflict. And overall, I think it was achieving its goal and felt like it was coming to a celebratory conclusion of mutual understanding. It really didn't need to hammer its point home. And by doing so, in a way, this movie became guilty of the very thing it was trying to speak against, using trauma to enforce its position.